My American roommate in Tokyo was on a heroic quest to simplify Japanese culture, starting with the language. He absolutely hated honorifics. Every time he heard someone say san or chan, he'd roll his eyes like Japan was still running on Windows 98. One night, while we were out having ramen, he lectured our Japanese friend, "You know, all this sama, chan business is just unnecessary. In America, we just use first names. It's more democratic, more comfortable. You guys could modernize your whole culture by just dropping this hierarchy thing. It's a simple fix." He said it like he was submitting a tech support ticket for 2,000 years of social etiquette. Our friend just smiled politely, proving the entire purpose of honorifics in one awkward moment. During a guided temple tour in Cambodia, I watched an American tourist stare at ancient Khmer inscriptions like he was solving a puzzle from a bad escape room. After a few minutes, he turned to our local guide and said, completely serious, "You know, this script is beautiful, but it's holding you guys back. If you switched to the Latin alphabet, tourists could actually read the signs. It'd help your kids with computers too. It's just practical, an upgrade for the global economy." He said upgrade like Cambodia was waiting for his permission to download a language patch. The guide nodded politely, probably adding him to the long list of foreigners who've tried to colonize with opinions. In Lyon, France, an American exchange student nearly started a linguistic revolution in our French literature class. He couldn't stand silent letters. After one too many verb drills, he raised his hand and argued with our professor. Why do parle, parles, and parlant all sound the same but look different? That's not efficiency, that's sabotage. Just spell it P-A-R-L for all of them and you'd save time, paper, and sanity. He ended his rant like a TED Talk on language reform. The professor blinked, sighed, and said, "Monsieur, that is not how language works." But you could see it in his eyes. He was already imagining how English speakers would simplify Victor Hugo into Vic Huge. In a Lisbon cafe, I watched an American tourist go to war with the Portuguese language over one word, obrigado. He'd overheard a woman say obrigada, so he insisted on copying her. The barista, a man, politely corrected him, explaining that the ending changes depending on the speaker's gender. The American frowned, like he'd just caught the barista inventing grammar on the spot. "That's the dumbest rule I've ever heard," he said. "A word's a word, why complicate it? You should just pick one version, like obligo, and everyone use that. It's cleaner and less sexist." The barista smiled through the pain, silently deciding that obligo would indeed be the perfect name for his next migraine. In a Russian literature class, an American student decided Cyrillic was a deliberate trap for English speakers. He threw up his hands mid-lecture and declared, "Look at this! P makes an R sound, C makes an S sound." Who designed this? A villain? If Russia switched to the Latin alphabet, it'd be easier to integrate with the West. Big geopolitical impact, minimal effort. The professor blinked, wondering if geopolitical alphabet reform was part of the curriculum now. Meanwhile, the other students quietly took notes, probably to avoid triggering any more American linguistic crusades. At a Greek restaurant, an American tourist tried to order a gyro but pronounced it gyro with absolute conviction. When the waiter patiently corrected him, "It's gyro," he waved his hand dismissively. "No, no, no," he said. "In America, where this food is actually famous, we call it gyro. You should really adopt our pronunciation. The world already agrees with us." "You're mispronouncing your own famous dish. Embarrassing, honestly." The waiter smiled politely and wondered if he should just start spelling everything in English phonetics from now on. After visiting our Sao Paulo office, my American boss decided Brazilian Portuguese needed a linguistic makeover. He was baffled that bom dia is for morning and boa tarde for afternoon. On a video call, he proclaimed, "Why have two greetings? Let's just say good day all day long." Simple, efficient, saves everyone time. The team nodded, silently appreciating the novelty of someone treating centuries of culture as an Excel spreadsheet ready for optimization. While staying at a hostel in the Netherlands, an American backpacker overheard Dutch conversation and immediately began giving advice. Dutch sounds like someone speaking German with a mouthful of marbles. You need to soften it. Drop those guttural G's in the back of the throat. Make it sound more like English and more pleasant internationally. He spoke as if he were auditioning for World Language Fixer. The locals continued speaking Dutch, proving that aesthetic critiques rarely replace centuries of linguistic evolution. I overheard an American tourist at a haka performance in New Zealand trying to offer linguistic advice to the Maori performers. After the performance, he leaned in and said, "That was amazing, but your language is aggressive." All the w sounds pronounced as f are confusing. Just say w instead. It would sound friendlier to tourists. The performer nodded politely, probably wondering if tourist-friendly phonetics was an Olympic sport. Somewhere behind him, the haka continued, untouched by foreign critiques. An American executive visiting our office in Poland was completely defeated by consonant clusters in names like Grzegorz Brzęczyszkiewicz. In a meeting, he laughed and announced, "I'm instituting American nicknames for everyone. You'll all be Bob, Tom, or Sue when talking to me. This will improve communication efficiency by 100%. The Polish team nodded politely, silently imagining a parallel universe where everyone's name really was Bob. A tourist in Iceland learned that the word for horse, hester, changes depending on grammar. He shook his head in disbelief and said to a local, "That's absurd. A horse is a horse. One word should suffice. Simplify your grammar like English. Clarity is everything." The local smiled, deciding that linguistic stubbornness is apparently part of national identity, and no amount of American pragmatism would change it. My American friend was watching a Bollywood movie and grew visibly irritated at Hinglish, the blend of Hindi and English. He shook his head and said, "They need to pick one language. Mixing the two sounds messy and unprofessional. If they just spoke English, the films would reach a global audience more easily." The friend munched popcorn, unaware that audiences around the world were already perfectly fine with the cultural mashup. An American in a Scottish pub was trying to decipher the menu. When he saw Cullen skink, he scoffed. Call it smoked fish chowder. Nobody knows what Cullen skink is. It sounds like a disease. Simple, descriptive English names would sell more. You're losing money. The bartender, whose family had perfected the dish for generations, poured him a bowl with a smile, silently praying for minimal Yelp reviews. An American exchange student in Norway loudly complained about the 3 grammatical genders, masculine, feminine, and neuter. "This is so outdated. A table is a boy, a book is a girl. It's not logical. English solved this centuries ago." You should too. Make everything neutral. One gender, everyone's happy. His Norwegian classmates exchanged amused glances, appreciating that history doesn't bend to convenience. I was on a flight to Ethiopia when the American sitting next to me picked up the in-flight magazine and began critiquing the Amharic script. "These characters look like cartoon doodles," he said. "For serious business, you should switch to English letters. It would make your country look professional." The flight attendant smiled politely while thinking about how the alphabet apparently doubles as a branding exercise for some passengers. An American tourist in Ireland was struggling with the name Siobhan. When told it was pronounced Siobhan, he became visibly frustrated. "But there's no V in it. This is a scam. You should spell it phonetically, Siobhan. Your spelling system is broken." The local laughed politely and reminded him that history often trumps convenience, especially in the island of saints and scholars. My American manager, after a video call with Japanese partners, decided their indirectness needed correction. "They use too many words to say no," he complained. "We're going to teach them the American way, direct and efficient. Just say no. Problem solved." Somewhere in Tokyo, a team of polite negotiators shuddered, realizing bluntness was coming in the form of corporate training slides. An American in a German bakery tried to order a Berliner. The cashier said, "Here we call them Pfannkuchen." The tourist laughed and said, "No, everyone calls them Berliners." "You're the only ones doing it wrong. Fix it." The cashier smiled and continued glazing donuts, demonstrating that centuries of local culinary tradition aren't easily outsourced to American common sense. In a Thai cooking class, an American participant decided the instructor's use of Thai names for ingredients was a crime against learning. He interrupted mid-lesson. "Why not just use English? Lemongrass, galangal, much easier for students." Teaching in Thai makes it confusing. If you want success with international students, use English. It's the universal language. The instructor smiled, mentally filing the comment under foreign opinions about everything. Meanwhile, the other students whispered translations under their breath, enjoying the irony. On an online forum, an American argued that Spanish should do away with the subjunctive mood entirely. "It's unnecessary, confusing, and intellectually elitist," he typed with fervor. "We communicate perfectly in English without it." "Spanish needs a grammar patch. Delete the subjunctive. It would be so much easier for everyone." Spanish teachers everywhere collectively shook their heads while quietly contemplating deleting the internet for the safety of their language. While binge-watching a Korean drama, my American friend sighed dramatically every time a verb appeared at the end of a sentence. Why put the verb last? It's backwards. Just restructure to subject, verb, object, like English. It's logical and readable. Their current order is inefficient. He scrolled subtitles like a quality control inspector, visibly distressed by the audacity of syntactic tradition. In Cairo, an American tourist held an Arabic newspaper upside down and complained, "Reading right to left is unnatural. The world writes left to right." You'd probably have higher literacy if you just switched directions. Simple logic. The tour guide smiled and said nothing, calculating how many millennia it would take to rewire a writing system to fit a single tourist's comfort zone. At our Swedish office, my American manager got hung up on family words. After discovering farmor and mormor, he announced, "Too complicated. From now on, everything is just grandmother. One word, clear, modern, efficient." His Swedish colleagues blinked at him in unison. Somewhere, an old genealogy chart quietly combusted. An American studying in Spain received a low grade on an essay because of accent marks. Outraged, he told the professor, "These little accents are useless decorations. English manages perfectly without them. Remove them, it's simpler. Context alone is enough. Your spelling system is outdated and needs an update." The professor smiled, secretly considering printing a red "Update Required" stamp for all foreign students' opinions. When an American manager transferred to our office in Helsinki, he decided to optimize Finnish as if it were a business process. He called a team meeting to address his biggest discovery. Finnish doesn't use prepositions. So instead of saying "in the house," you say "talossa," one word. That's inefficient, he declared proudly. We're adopting the English model. From now on, say "in talo." It's clearer, more global, more logical. Everyone stared in stunned silence, trying to process this linguistic coup. Somewhere in the distance, the Finnish language wept softly into its 15 grammatical cases. At a winery in Tuscany, an American tourist interrupted a poetic Italian sommelier mid-sentence to save the wine industry from itself.
The sommelier was beautifully describing the notes di un Chianti, robusto, vellutato, con un tocco di frutti rossi.
The tourist waved his hand and said, "Can you just say it in English? Honestly, you guys would sell more wine if you stopped using fancy Italian words. Use strong instead of robusto, dry instead of tannino. Everyone would understand. Make English the official wine language." The sommelier smiled, nodded politely, and poured him the house red, a blend of grapes and irony. When my cousin from the US came to visit me in Wales, he treated Welsh town names like they were part of a cryptography challenge. After 20 minutes of trying to pronounce Llanfairpwll Gwingil Gogarich Windrobwyl Llantycilia Gogogoch, he turned to a local pub owner and said, "You know, you guys would attract way more tourists if you renamed these towns. Have a competition. Pick simple English names like Seaview or Dragon's Peak."
"It's good, Brandon." The pub owner nodded with the patience of a man who's heard this before, then said in a thick Welsh accent, "Aye, but then what would you complain about?"
In a Mandarin class in Beijing, an American student hit his breaking point over tones. Every time he said ma, it came out ma. After several corrections, he slammed his notebook shut and said, "This is a design flaw. Words shouldn't change meaning based on pitch. Just assign different words like English does, simple, reliable, tone-free." The teacher blinked and said nothing, probably wondering how to explain that the entire tonal system of Mandarin wasn't a bad software feature that could be patched out in version 2.0. When I worked at a hotel in Dublin, an American guest decided he was qualified to rebrand Irish heritage. He pointed at the bilingual signs, English on top and Gaelic beneath, and said, "You should remove the Irish text. It looks messy and unprofessional, like typos. Stick with English. It's modern, universal, clean." I smiled politely while realizing he was, in fact, suggesting we delete our national language for better aesthetics. The man checked out the next day, blissfully unaware he'd proposed cultural erasure between breakfast and checkout. An American software engineer working with a team in India sent out a company-wide memo that read like a linguistic manifesto. To avoid confusion, please stop using local terms like lach and crore. Use 100,000 and 10 million instead. We must standardize to American English, the clearest, most logical global standard. The Indian team quietly read the email, sipped their chai, and continued using lack and crow in every conversation, proving that logic doesn't always win, but cultural pride sure does.